Hey guys, today we are going to review the M5 Ultra. This mouse comes from MAMBASNAKE, which is supposed to be a sub-brand of Attack Shark. Attack Shark also released the R5 Ultra, which is supposed to be the same exact mouse as this one. The main difference should be only the firmware solution, but in terms of internals and shell should be the same exact. So you can also take this review as a review for the R5 Ultra. This mouse is supposed to be a Finalmouse clone, something in between the small and medium size. I have with me a small Finalmouse ULX Prophecy Edition, so I can use that for comparison. And it should be 8K polling rate mouse, around 40 grams. I will check also the weight later on. As you probably know, most Chinese mice are kind of lying on the weight, always going down at least 3 to 5 grams. So we will also look into that. So inside the box we get the mouse, of course, the 8K dongle, a cable, which feels very stiff, some grips, and the manual and the skates. The grips are actually decent. They're not the best and not the worst. Definitely a little more grippy compared to the ROM ones, but less grippy compared to the Attack Shark ones. And also when you compare these grips to the ones from Finalmouse, these ones are definitely more grippy. So in my opinion, they have a better texture and they're better to use if you want to cover the holes of the mouse. So in terms of shape, this mouse, as I said, is supposed to be something in between a small and a medium Finalmouse. When I take for comparison my ULX Prophecy edition, this one feels definitely smaller. The M5 is definitely wider and you can definitely feel it in hand. And in my opinion, if you want to fingertip, the smaller size of the ULX is kind of better. So I will say that this one is closer to the medium size of Finalmouse. In terms of QC and overall build quality, this mouse feels very solid. There is no creaking, nothing. Actually feels more solid compared to my Finalmouse. The only issue is that if you really push really hard on the top of the shell, you can flex it a little, as you can see on the camera. This is a non-issue, like you need to apply so much pressure, something you will never do in game, and you will never ever encounter something like this while playing. So in terms of build quality, this mouse is actually very good. For the coating, I'm not sure if there is a coating. This mouse feels rather smooth to the touch, and if the holes are annoying you, you should definitely apply the grips. So for the main keylicks, this mouse is using the 100M mechanical Omrons. These switches feel okay, not the best, not the worst. They feel pretty consistent, whether you click them in the front, in the middle, or in the back. The only issue that I have with these clicks is that if I press them on the side around here, there is some creak. This is kind of annoying, and if you're very picky with your clicks, this can be a huge issue. So I want to point this out. I know that other reviewers didn't point out this issue, so I believe that this issue is only for my unit, but I still wanted to let you guys know. And overall, these switches have a medium actuation force. When I compare them to my ULX Prophecy Edition, they definitely feel less refined. These fields definitely feel greater, they're slightly lighter, and there is less travel overall. I have some side-to-side wobble on the main clicks when you press them down. And in terms of pre and post travel, there is some pre-travel, but nothing huge, nothing annoying. And there is actually quite a lot of post travel on my unit on both mouse 1 and mouse 2. For the scroll wheel, this mouse is using an FE encoder. This encoder is probably one of my favorite ones. It's definitely on the lighter side. The steps are there, but they're definitely very light, and I enjoy this kind of scroll wheels a lot. The skates are the classic black PTFE that we are finding in most of these cheap Chinese mice. They feel okay, kinda slow, and if you're looking for speed, you want to definitely switch them out. In terms of performance, this mouse was okay. I didn't encounter any major issue. I think that my unit was a very good one because I've seen on the MAMBASNAKE Discord that a lot of users are reporting the same exact issue, that once you press down the main click, it releases the click even though you're still holding it. And obviously that's not something you want to encounter in game, but I personally didn't encounter an issue like this, and overall the performance was okay. It definitely reminds of the Finalmouse experience you get because of the shape, but in terms of clicks, they're definitely not really close. The Finalmouse clicks are way more refined, and you definitely feel it if you're someone that is quite picky with the clicks. This is the WebDriver for the mouse. I found a link on the Discord of MAMBASNAKE. I couldn't find it on the website, and I think I was wrong because on the top left there is an Attackshare logo. So I think that even the software should be the same as the R5 Ultra. Um, Overall, the WebDriver is very basic. You have all the settings you need on one page, so I'm not very demanding with my softwares as long as they're simple to use. And actually, when you have all your settings on one single page, this is actually not something I like. And here you can set polling rates, sleep time, LOD, ripple control, angle snap, and motion sync. I personally play on 800 DPI, either 1000 or 2000 polling rate, and I overall always keep off all the other settings, and I set my debounce time to 0 milliseconds and didn't encounter any issue of double clicking or anything like that. I will go and test the polling rate of this mouse. I will set it to 8000 and we will see if this is somewhat consistent. Yeah, definitely not even close to 8K, but overall I never use 8K. So let's see how it goes when I set it to 4K. Okay, 4K is definitely closer. Not reaching 4K exactly, around 3.8, 3.7. Let's see the 2K. Yeah, the 2K is already much better. That's what I usually play on, and it has felt overall consistent. So the 4 and 8K are not really consistent, as you have seen in my testing. So that's something you might want to note. So in conclusion, this mouse is not bad. It has some flaws like the creaking on the mouse one. The 8K polling rate and 4K are quite inconsistent. Anything above 2K, as you have seen, feels not really refined. And overall, the clicks of the real Finalmouse feels overall better. So this mouse is a Finalmouse clone, yes. It's a light mouse, and overall gives a quite similar experience to the Finalmouse, but it doesn't feel the exact same. And overall, you can tell that this is a budget mouse. So if you want to try the Finalmouse shape but don't want to spend 200 euros, this mouse is not a bad option. Obviously, you cannot expect to get a flawless mouse. It will have some kind of issue, but I suggest to get the R5 Ultra, not the M5 Ultra, because from what I have seen on the Discord of MAMBASNAKE, there are some issue with the firmware that I did not experience, but that's something to point out and be aware of when you're getting a new mouse, you don't want to experience that kind of issue where you're holding the left click and it's releasing itself, even if you're still holding it. That's really annoying, I believe. So I suggest to get the R5 Ultra. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you have found it helpful in some way and appreciated my honesty, you guys can leave a like or a subscribe to support me, and see you in the next one, guys. Peace.